new season is once again set to kick off here from the Sunshine State, as it's 90 laps just shy of 200 miles about to kick off the 2026 SRA IEL Truck Series on Green Flag TV. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Ola Rambo, bringing you all the action from start to finish here tonight from Daytona International Speedway. A full field of trucks this afternoon. 43 are getting set to take to the grid, and that means this could be one of the most entertaining, one of the most wild seasons that SRA has seen yet. Just shy, of course, of the last time we were at Daytona for the Super Speedway Blitz. Right now, we kick things off at Daytona, followed by another trip around the Echo Park Speedway a week from today. That is followed up by a run for the Western Swing. Las Vegas Motor Speedway and the Phoenix Raceway will both host 130-lap runs. Then we swing back to the south as Texas Motor Speedway will kick us off on Valentine's Day. Homestead Miami Speedway on February 21st, and to close out February, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Chicagoland, Indianapolis, and Bristol will close out the next 3 rounds here this afternoon. But if we tell you what a run that we're set to have here this afternoon. A lot of returning faces: Thomas Lane Jr., Paul Witt, Aaron Raymond, Anthony Lane, James Yerger, Jim Duda, and more, all set to come back and make runs. Also, some new faces here this afternoon. Likes of Thomas Davis making their debuts here this afternoon. Dan Witt making his debut, same with Wyatt Youngblood. You, of course, have other faces like Carter Casey making their long-awaited returns. You, of course, have other faces that we haven't seen for some time making their reappearances. George Kirafides being among them in his number 34, and, of course, others like the KNC Sim Racing number 31 of Kevin Roy. All of this leads to a 43-truck grid here this afternoon, and it's going to be an extremely intense ride for everyone here this afternoon. A true testament in patience is what is on offer for the SRA IEL Truck Series field here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the weather. 84 degrees Fahrenheit down on the racetrack, 81 degrees in the air, 5 miles an hour of southeastward winds. And well, that means that this racetrack effectively is in peak perfect conditions. And all of this with the season set to kick off under the lights here this afternoon. You know what they say, the nighttime is the right time. And there is just something special about seeing this 2.5-mile behemoth, home to the great American race, lit up under the lights instead of under the sun. You can feel that pressure gradually building more and more over the course of this field as everyone is set to take a run down here through that field in just a few moments' time. But of course, you have a lot of faces coming into this one that want to make up ground. Paul Witt right now looking to see if he can reassert some of that Super Speedway dominance that he was once known for throughout the course of 2025. Of course, that has tended to kind of fall by the wayside, but he still has a chance to make a run this afternoon. And then, of course, drivers like Dean Ellert alongside other folks like Alexander Romero trying to see if they can't come in here and make a big splash here in this opening round. But we'll see who's going to be where as we are set to take a rundown of what that starting is going to look like as we are geared up to go racing at the World Center of Racing. Jordan Jung starting this race from pole position. He is alongside Zane Bailey's number 20 on the front row of the grid, separated by just 15 thousandths of a second. Row 2 on the field, then headed up by Justin Andisogak at the furniture row number 78. He is alongside Ted Wreckage. Row 3, Elliot Kendra brings up the Napa Auto Parts 09 in 5th. He is alongside Jim Duda with the Ford Racing F-150 down in 6th. Row 4, Aaron May alongside Aaron Raymond. It's the battle of the Aarons down on that 4th row, still within half a tenth of the leaders. Top 10 closed out by Charlie Birch alongside Paul Witt in the number 74, making a number change, breaking away from that 429 he's known to run. Row number 6, Jared Duda brings it up with Bobby Blowers, made his long-awaited return down in number 49. From there, row number 7, Thomas Davis, the first of the rookies in the 3-wide Motorsports number 33. He is alongside Dylan Wilbers' Tonka Chevrolet Silverado. Row number 8, James Yerger, he is alongside Thomas Lane Jr. with row 9, holding the likes of Kevin Roy and John Powalda Jr. Top 20 then, closed out by George Kirafides and Dan Witt, matching each other on qualifying times. Top half of the field closed up by Jeff Gilmore and Wyatt Youngblood, and into the back half of the field this afternoon. It's Austin Mitchell down in 23rd. He is alongside Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez. 25th and 26th brought up by John Holliday and Joshua Burke. Dale Rapp and Michael Campbell will start this run 27th and 28th, with the top 30 closed on out by Carter Casey, one of the rookies here this afternoon, alongside Scott Heidman. From there, it's Noah Swafford and Anthony Lane, 31st and 32nd. 33rd and 34th, it's Alexander Romero. He is alongside TJ Washed. With row number 16 this afternoon is Ryan Wayne and Mike Campbell. Joshua Highbaugh and Michael Allen bring up row number 19 on the grid here this afternoon, with row number 20 holding Cody Witt and Robert Amaral. And back end of the field closed out by Dean Eller and Michael Gutcher, with Joshua Jernigan bringing up the tail of the field. But those Spawn 3 trucks have not made the start on this one here this afternoon. They'll look to start their races from pit road. So all of this as we are gearing up for what should be a thrilling season opener. Now remember, no 3 wide permitted here until lap 17, right around when we're going to be getting the first run of green flag pit stops in this afternoon, assuming we get that far, which in the odds of that in a field this big tend to be a little bit slim. James Yerk will also look to start his race from pit road as alongside Alexander Romero, so a good number of trucks starting the field from the back end here this afternoon. And all of this will lead what will now end up being the 70th Justin Anasogak coming through. A past race winner here, trying to see if he can get a good run for himself. And we are happy that you are joining us for more racing action here on this fantastic Saturday night, as a new chapter of the SRA IEL Truck Series is about to get underway. The field is going to work their way into the United Rentals restart zone, and we're happy you join us for more racing action here at Daytona. It's go, go, go for the 2026 campaign! Head of the field, Zane Bailey leads lap number 1 to green, quickly jumping down ahead of Justin Anasogak. That allows for Ted Rekich to pull alongside him on the top side of the racetrack, pushed by Jim Duda on an effort to get back to the point. See quite a few trucks in the background starting to get single filed out down to that inside line. That top lane breaking up the further down the field you get. Rekich is going to get pushed clear by Duda. Will he abandon the top lane? No, he will not. And that lets Zane Bailey pull back alongside, entering turn number 3 this afternoon. And this 2-by racing is what we can expect to see for the opening salvo of laps here. We're not going to be seeing 3 wide until we get to lap 17, or at least if you do, it's going to be from drivers getting shuffled out of line here, maybe pushed down onto the apron, or a bit of a bad bump up towards the wall, but 3 wide, technically fine, so long as you make an honest effort to get back in the line as quickly and as safely as possible. You just can't go 3 wide to try and advance any of your positions. Rekich remains up top. Jim Duda this time has also pulled alongside Bailey. Rekich has a chance to chop down low, and he's going to take it. So the TRD number 27 Tundra is going to jump down in front of Zane Bailey. And Bailey going to muscle Ted Rekich up top and try to get back to the point. Ted Rekich trying to control both lanes. Does not want to become a driver like Elliot Kandra, who's just stuck in the back with nothing to do but lift and run your line. So far, every driver back to 38th, packed up under one giant blanket. James Yerger, the lone driver at the back end of the field who started this race from pit road, that has lost the draft early on. And right now, James Yerger is really hoping for an early caution to get that number 19 back into contention here. Otherwise, he could find himself in a world of trouble. It will not take him long enough. It won't take him long to go down the lap here at Daytona. You can already hear the field pass by the start-finish line, and he's just entering turn 3, so he is losing ground significantly here. Right now, he is lapping around 2 seconds a lap slower than the rest of the field. Up front into turn 2. Wreckage has jumped down to the inside again with the lead. Jim Duda, though, clear up top. He's trying to pull Aaron Raymond with him, and now Jim Duda going to abandon the top lane. No surprise that he doesn't want to work with Aaron Raymond, given the animosity we've seen them throughout the course of late 2024, throughout early 2025. There has been some thawing of relations here a little bit between Raymond and the Dudas. Aaron Raymond, he has mentioned before, he's looking to leave some of that over-aggressive driving behind and turn a new leaf, and it looks like he has done that successfully throughout the last the last couple seasons or so here throughout the course of 2025, and it's been represented by how drivers have been more willing to work with Raymond over the last few weeks during the Super Speedway Blitz. And we'll see if that translates into performance as well here in the Truck Series at Daytona. A move down low for Aaron Raymond. He'll pick up the lead of the race. But look at how big of a gap he's gotten in front as Paul Witt really side drafts the heck out of Jim Duda to drag him back. Paul Witt and Thomas Lane Jr. now, two teammates going to link up on the outside, trying to make a run to the top spot. Austin K. Mitchell, third truck in line, trying to see what he can do as well from the second groove. And Paul Witt abandons his teammate by going down low. So far, a very orderly start to this race. And again, not terribly surprised. It's a long run, 90 laps. You're going to be here a while, so a lot of drivers are just looking set to play it safe, let the races come to them. You see how many more trucks are starting to line up on that inside groove. Not a lot of faith being shown to the outside line right now. You got double file in that outside, back to around 22nd, but the 23rd on down, all single file here at the tail end, except for the 52. Dale Rapp thinks he's gotten the answer, and he's trying to go up on the outside line. Quickly drops back in line, though evidently he was not the most confident about that. But he was able to jump up a few spots, and critically, he is linked up with his teammate, Joshua Heibaugh, in that number 48 truck right behind him. You see Heibaugh backing up a little bit here. Could we have seen Heibaugh try to potentially set up a slingshot here? Oh, one truck down onto the apron. Charlie Burge on the number 80. Fading to the back of the pack. And this could be a bit of a bad break here for the number 80 Chevy Silverado, as he's going to fade all the way to the rear end. Look at how far back he dropped. He has lost the draft now. He is way off pace. Huge problems for Charlie Burge, and he is going to have lost the draft as a result of that one. That is a devastating error for him. Charlie Burge was at the towards the sharp end of the field. He was right in the mid-pack where all the double file was. What has happened to cause Charlie Birch to drop down and out? It just went down through the apron. I have a feeling like he just kind of wanted to filter to the back and didn't realize how long it was going to take for him to find a hole, and it was just a huge miscalculation on his part. Ten laps in the books, 80 laps to go. Austin Mitchell leads the way from the inside, pushed by rookie Dan Witt. Thomas Lane Jr. and Paul Witt also in the mix, and Aaron Raymond makes it a 5-car single-file train down low. Inside lane started to pull a bit of a gap, but deeper in the field, Noah Swafford trying to link up with the Mobile 1, number 7 of Kevin Roy. They got one third truck back there as well, trying to help them keep ground going. I believe that is Carter Casey. It is, as they're trying to get some more momentum going on that outside line. So far, biggest mover on the day. You're looking at him. It's your race leader, Austin Mitchell, up front. Showing no fear and powering through the field. And as I say that, Cody Witt has actually taken that spot away. Cody Witt, of course, all the way back to the 15th place spot, and now up 23 this afternoon. Some of the big losers, you're looking at Jordan Jung. Started on the front row of the grid. Now he has dropped back a whopping 22 positions, and Jung mired deep in the field back in 23rd now, after starting his race from pole position. So a tough break for the number 45 entry. Right now, last in line on the outside groove. But quite a few drivers, I'm sure, don't mind so much about that, because it's all about race conservation here in the early going. Now, we are starting to approach that point where 3 wide would be allowed, because we will be getting closer to that single file pit road, or to the pit road run. Now, green flag stops in SRA have been a consistent issue in the past, so new rules have dictated that drivers must verbally call out their pit entries on the radio. You are not allowed to put it in the text chat. You must verbally call out that you are pitting, preferably about half a lap earlier. But that is to give adequate warning to drivers behind you. And then critically as well, it is heavily advised that you don't start braking until you're off the racing surface. Now, that is not uncommon to see drivers not starting to brake from the road until they get below the double yellow line. And yet here we are. Oh, hello. Got a little bit of 3 wide, it looks like, in the tail end there, but they'll quickly get it back to double as the truck that was pushed 3 wide, Jordan Jung, gets back in line. Turning lap number 15 here this afternoon. Thomas Lane Jr. jumps down to the inside now. Oh, we got issues at the tail end here. Multiple drivers tumbling down the order. Dan Witt, the rookie, losing a lot of ground. So is Noah Swafford. No caution. We will keep it green, but we've had a significant problem at the tail end of the field. And in fact, here comes Thomas Lane Jr. now coming down pit road. Take a look back and we'll try to dissect what happened here to Dan Witt and co. This is going to be at the back of the field. Oh, wow! Whoa, look out! Keep it off the wall! What a save for the number 14 there of Dan Witt. Boy, a wild slide down the racetrack. Look at how far sideways that truck's going to get, and that thing is wrecked. He is going into the inside wall and just avoids the opening down on the inside of the racetrack. And does a phenomenal job to wrestle the 44 back underneath himself. That is absolutely tremendous driving from Dan Witt, albeit he is now mired all the way at the tail end of the field. Just a poorly misjudged lane change there for Cody Witt. Evidently thought he was clear. He definitely was not. Wyatt Youngblood now leads the way. In the number 37, George Kirafides tucked in line. TJ washed up on the outside, one of the trucks that came down pit road, now going a lap down as a result of that. One more time, let's look what happened here to Dan Witt. This is on board with the 44. Hello! Did a stellar job to keep that car out of the inside wall. Fine wheel work there to avoid that being worse than it ended up being. Ted Rekich now on a solo charge up on the outside. He's going to pull even with Jim Duda, but he's unable to go much further than that. Wyatt Youngblood, one of the rookies entering tonight, up 21 positions here in this race. See more trucks that had just come down pit road now going down laps. Noah Swafford up on the outside. About to lose a lap of his own, and keep in mind, we are past the lap 17 3-wide prohibition, and so game on. 3 wide now permitted this afternoon. Top 5, you're looking at Youngblood, Kirafides, Duda, Rekich, and then Jordan Jung fighting it out with Michael Campbell. And here we go, pit stops underway. Oh, Jim Duda on his way in, a close shave with Cody Witt right behind him, but they're able to get down to pit road safely. All to win this time, Thomas Davis, Paul Witt. Everyone's able to get into the box safe and sound. And Youngblood's got some competition on the top side as Ted Rekich, pushed by Michael Campbell, going to lose the lead. A lot of different drivers have led laps so far tonight. I don't believe any one driver's led more than 5 at a time. And here's going to be a big bunch. Got about a third of the field coming to pit road. Oh, hold on, look out, look out, look out. What another save for Jordan Jung. Had to lock her down big time on the way into the box. Jordan Jung having a wild moment entering pit road. Take a ride on board. And this one easily could have wiped out Wyatt Youngblood here, along with Ted Rekich. You hear the wheels starting to chatter, locks it down, didn't even get a speeding penalty out of that. Great job. Now here comes Campbell, Blowers, and more, all making their way into the pits, and this is going to be just about everybody else. Campbell forcing Raymond out wide. And that is going to allow for, I believe, that to be Bobby Blowers to take the lead. Oh, we got one sideways in pit road, two sideways, one entering pit road. Joshua Burke's around. And we got one other truck stopped backwards. That's the 72, Michael Campbell. So evidently it was, someone was doomed to lose out eventually here on this deal. And that's going to be a devastating error for Campbell on that deal. Jump back and once again take a look. So he's on his way in. Bit of contact there with Aaron Raymond on the way in because he was trying to lock it down. It's looking fine. Oh, and then he got hit again. He had to really brake to turn in, and that caused him to get hit from behind by Raymond. And the Jim Duda finished the job. Mike Campbell down pit road, and that is going to be that then. Michael Allen has to come down pit road. Oh, no! Michael Allen missed the box. He came down just one lap ago, but he missed the stall on the way in. So now he's effectively going to lose a lap. And on top of that, Robert Amaral with a black flag to serve for an unsafe pit exit. So Ted Wreckage and Jim Duda, now the top two. There you see Campbell leading the way. Wreckage almost gets turned by Duda there in the back straightaway. Just like that, first run of stops tonight are concluded. Kind of taking a look overall throughout the field here on this one. There you got the leading pack. This is first all the way back to 17th. They're all in the line. About 2 seconds behind them, you've got John Hawley about to be swallowed up by Thomas Davis and crew. This is the pack back to 25th. And then, of course, keep in mind there are some lap trucks in the midst of all of this as well. Those are the two main packs then. And this secondary pack in the background here is trying to make up ground to the front runners, and there is a chance that they could get up there. They just got to really work together here to make that all that time up. Head of the field, Ted Wreckage continues to lead the way, but the pusher has changed. It was Jim Duda. Now it's Paul Witt. You see Zane Bailey pushing Duda through 3 and 4. Trying to jump back, showing you the number of laps left for all the drivers. And I mean, look at all the different leaders that we've had tonight. So far, by my count, no one has led more than 5 laps in this race. Wreckage could be one of the first. Jared Duda throws down the new fastest lap of the race. And then just like that, Paul Witt going to start to go on offense up on the outside. Almost 1/3 distance through this one. And based on when we saw drivers coming down pit road, you're looking at about a 4-stop race here this afternoon, unless he can do a crap ton of fuel saving under green flag runs. So the story to watch now is going to be, is that second pack closing on the front runners? That's a hard thing to say. We'll jump back here. This is Dylan Wilbers. And then, of course, you've got Thomas Lane Jr., who currently leads the second group further down the order. And as you can see, it's been fluctuating back and forth quite consistently. 2/10 lost 3 laps go, then 2/10 gained by Thomason Jr., then 3/10 lost by the second pack. I think right now the big issue that Lane and his group have is the fact that they've been kind of caught up trying to get around some lap traffic. Now they got some clean air though. Although I say that, drivers trying to open up a second groove deeper in the second pack is not going to help matters. That is Anthony Lane trying to make a run on the outside. He's getting a little bit out of shape. Now keep in mind, the 2 trucks on the outside lane are teammates. But Lane's going to lose another 1/4 of a second. So overall, this group of trucks here from first back to 17th, Ted Reckich through Dylan Wilbers, it is the fastest group on the racetrack right now. Ted Reckich could be caught in a fire. George Kirafides went low. Reckich covers him off, and I think George was thinking about looking back to the outside, decided the gains, and he'll continue to push the 27. I like what Ted Reckich is doing here. He's really working to control both lanes of the racetrack. He allows for the second groove to pull up to him, but now you see George Kirafides looking to take the lead away down low, but right as you think he's going to get there, Ted Reckich covers him off. Pulls down to get the side draft going and stall out the run. It's going to allow Ryan Wayne to pull alongside. Will he jump back down low? Yes, he will. Kind of hovering. And again, this is strategic, right? He's trying to control both lanes on the racetrack, and that is how Reckich is able to stay out in front. Ted knows how to win these races, so I'm not surprised to see him using tactics like this. He's thinking very much with his head, but the problem is by leading so many laps up front, he is making it harder and harder and harder on himself to save fuel because he's got to keep his foot fully in the throttle. He can't afford to lift out like the drivers that are in his wake can. So he is using more fuel than everybody else, which means if he keeps this up, he might have to end up hitting a lap or 2 early. And if no one comes with him, that could kill his chances of winning this race if this keeps going green like this. Oh, an aggressive look up high. Saw the run coming from Ryan Wayne and went up to shut it down, but that lets George Kirafides get back around him down low. Paul Witt remains an ever loyal pusher on the inside. And George Kirafides this time sneaks through for the lead, and unless he jumps up to block Reckich, which he's not doing, and Paul Witt's not up there to push him. Gets over there now, but it could be too little too late. One-third distance complete here this afternoon, and Reckich continuing to lead the way. Let's ride on board for a few laps in the middle of this leading pack. We'll let you feel the noise at Daytona. Boy, you saw a massive checkup on that inside line there. That time by down the Daytona Super Strategy rode on board with Zane Bailey. Outside or inside lane clearly had a bit of a wiggle up front, and they stacked up to avoid having much of an incident. We are now working the 16th lap of the stint for some. For drivers like Thomas Lane Jr., you're now working lap number 20 as well, so pit stops are imminent here in this field for the second time this afternoon. And while we mostly made it through, there were a couple of notable incidents. 1 or 2 black flags being given now, but notably 2 different spins on pit entry. One from Joshua Burke and the other one from Michael Campbell. So this is going to be an interesting run. First set of stops is usually among the most treacherous. Might be able to get things locked down this afternoon. Here comes that pretty much the entirety of that second train into the box. Wanted to make sure that they get in and out as quickly as they possibly can. There you see a bit of a trailing third group back there as well, making their way on through. And up front of the leading pack, it's the waiting game. No one coming in this time by. And you're going to see quite a few of the trucks here that just came down pit road at risk of going a lap down now. In fact, there they all are. A lot of them are going to go a lap down, but they will get that back once this leading pack takes the pit road. DJ Wash trying to find an opening, but right now kind of straddling that apron there. He is going to be able to get up right at the tail end of the field, although nearly collected Dylan Wilbers as he did so. And still no one blinking at the head of the pack. Ted Rekich, meanwhile, up at the front, continuing to get a run going as Jim Duda, even with him on the low side. Here comes Paul Witt and Jim Duda, both bailed at the pit road. George Karafidas left without any help now up on the outside, and it is only these 2 trucks coming to pit road. So very clearly a team decision being made in between Duda and Witt. Up front, another pack about to be swallowed up if they can't get a move on here. George Kivrafides in the Michael McDowell lookalike truck being shoved from behind by Ted Rekich. It'll be 50 laps to go, just 5 shy of halfway. Here comes race leader Kivrafides into the box. And he'll bring a couple with him. Oh no! And he's been caught for speeding on pit entry. George Kivrafides coming in too hot. And that will be a race killer unless he gets a lucky yellow flag. Every run, there's always that one that pushes the limit a bit too much, usually near the head of the field, because they're trying to lose as little time as possible on the way in. Expecting 1st through 11th to be down any time now. Here comes another group of 4. Much more of a split call this time than what we were seeing in the early runs. We have much greater packs coming together. George Garafina is just now getting his black flag clear, and he'll make his way out onto the racetrack once more. And some trucks opted to take tires on this pit stop run as well. So looking like drivers taking 2 per each of the runs here. I'm a fan of it. No drivers coming to pit road this time By the way, you might see there's a lot of trucks in the front here, but right now that blue truck on the inside, Zane Bailey, that is the race leader. Everyone ahead of him is a lap down. And Zane Bailey is saving fuel here. You can tell how much he is backing up the car to save fuel. Right now, his last lap was a full second slower than his fastest lap of the race. Zane Bailey is not pushing right now. He's trying to stretch that tank just a little bit longer. And it looks like others behind him are trying to do the same. And here comes a huge group to pit road. Charlie Birch makes it in, as does Carter Casey and more. Pit road, a very, very busy place right now. Quite a few lap trucks coming down around a bunch of the lead lap runs. There's only 4 trucks on the lead lap that actually came down to pit road there. A good chunk of that group were fighting to get a lap back. Long stop for Aaron Raymond as he took 4 tires. Everyone else took 2, and he's out of the pits. Justin Andisogag right now, the net race leader. Here comes Zane Bailey, Jared Duda, and Carter Casey in the pit road. Carter Casey pushing Jared Duda on the way in. They're able to lock it down, though, and we will have no penalties. So there's Andisogag. First truck out of pit road, but Aaron May quickly running him down. And Aaron May now becomes the new net race leader. Oh, now Valondo, Ted Rekic going up high, trying to get around him. Zane Bailey, mind you, is out of the pits along with Carter Casey and Jared Duda. Trying to see if they can fight their way through this afternoon. Bailey continues to lead the way up at the head of the field. And has he managed to get out in front, going to get up to speed in time? He's not going to be able to. He's all by himself, and he's going to lose the lead here. Ted Rekic is going to fight his way through. All of that as we are officially halfway home. 45 down, 45 to go here at the Daytona International Speedway. Quite a run that these folks have been having here this afternoon, but what a journey this has been taking on. We got problems here. John Holiday pulling to the inside of the racetrack, and he's going to take a tow. So John Holiday having a quite a significant issue here. Take a jump back. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. Well, that was already well after he had started slowing. This is going to be earlier. Has he hit the wall or has he had an issue? He's coming off of turn 4. He's at the head of his own grouping. No damage that I can see. He just pulls to the inside and brings it to a stop. Got it far enough down, and of course, he deliberately got it far enough down so that it would not force a caution. He clearly did not want to bring a yellow flag out. I don't know what to tell you. Well, this race continues to escalate in momentum here throughout the course of the afternoon. Let's take a quick jump and take a rundown of what's coming up here on Greenflight TV in the coming days. On Monday afternoon, it's the Dover Motor Speedway playing host to yet another round of the High Tide Racing League in Gen 4 machinery. That's going to be a fun ride. We're back to Daytona for the Aspire Racing Series and the Mid-Atlantic Race Series for twin season openers on Tuesday. And then after them, it is, of course, the Ole Miss SRA Cup Series at Bristol Motor Speedway. PSR and the Beer League back for more action here on Wednesday, and what a run that the Beer League had at Lime Rock Park just 1 week ago. A thriller indeed. And then the Zero Torque Racing League closes out the round of 16 with the playoffs. One more potential win is up for grabs to fight your way into the round of 12, and we'll see who will clinch it at the Tricky Triangle over on Friday night. And then, of course, we're back for more on SRA with the IEL Truck Series the day after. Still caution-free for the opening 49 laps of this race, and this has been a very welcome change for a good chunk of the SRA field, because remember, 39 trucks started this race. We only have one fully out of the race, and only one real crash. It was on pit road. Well, yellow flags have been a consistent problem for SRA. I know that they've been really struggling to try and see if they can clean up the yellow flags a bit more and kind of bring the racing standards that we saw in 2024 back to the fold. And if what we've been seeing tonight is going to be the case throughout the good chunk of the season, then I think we can say mission accomplished. Not many leagues can say that they've gone 50 laps green in a field this big at Daytona without a single yellow flag in sight. Jim Dudas still leads the way on the outside line. Some of these drivers starting the 10th lap of their stints. Which, of course, means we are about to get ourselves quite a jumbled up pack. Oh, look out! Big wobble from the outside line as Paul Witt jumped down to the inside, abandoning Jordan Jung up top. How about that? Jordan Jung looking to power through on the outside line, shoved by Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez. Haven't talked about Gonzalez too much today. The number 67 there has just been running a very quiet race in this one. Now the chase bag number 67 going to hop down to the inside with Jordan Jung. And, you know, Gonzalez, a driver that has been running part-time on and off in SRA since we started broadcasting these guys. He's been doing a pretty good job here in this one tonight, up 22 positions after starting back in 24th. And I'm sure he's not going to be complaining about running in the top 5 now, although he does have Charlie Birch being pushed from behind by Aaron May up on the outside. No, sorry, he's being pushed by the 34 of George Kirafides. Remember, Kirafides is one lap down in the mix here, so that loves number 34, not on the lead lap, not fighting these guys for position. What he is fighting for is trying to lead the way so he can potentially get his lap back so he doesn't have to rely on a lucky dog in the middle of the yellow flag. And he is in the middle of that fight with James Yerger and Michael Allen, both of which are in this pack. Deeper in the field, Anthony Lane is picking up control over the second group from 17th back to 24th. Wyatt Youngblood is in this group, and that's a shame for Youngblood. He was one of the drivers that was running up at the front of the field trying to lead laps in the early portion of this one. Still up 5, but I'm sure he's thinking about what could be right now. Other drivers in this group include Jeff Gilmore, GJ Wash, Dale Rapp, Thomas Lane Jr., Noah Swaffer, Cody Witt, also in the mix. So you've got a substantial crew from 17th on back here that is trying to make up some ground. But all the side-by-side is up front in this leading grouping here. And much like what we saw in the first 17, it's been incredibly orderly up here. No one's been overly aggressive. No one's been trying to make any moves that are realistically out of order. Save for that one wicked block that Cody Witt threw that almost sent Dan Witt into the inside wall. Lap 56 in the books here as drivers continue to get a run going for themselves here, and we are about to approach that final third of racing action here this afternoon. The field is showing no signs of any yellow flags just yet, and with us now being a good distance into this race, we remain caution-free on lap number 56. Let's take ourselves a quick step back. When we return, it's more racing action on Greenflight TV. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Three wide, deeper in the field with Ted Wreckage getting a little bit dicey at the tail end of this one. Yeah, at the 29, down the inside. They were able to gather it together. Quite a few drivers meanwhile down pit road. Scott Heidman, Thomas Davis, and John Bawalda Jr. all in on the 21st lap of their respective stints. And for the time being, we are seeing quite the run in the season opener of the SRA IEL trucks this afternoon. Oh, hold on. Look out, Cody Witt. And Cody Witt has just smoked the inside wall coming down to the pit road. Rough ride for Cody Witt on the way into the box. Let's take a jump back, show you what happened. He is back out onto the racetrack now. He was coming down with drivers like Noah Swafford. And back end kicks around on him. Oh, man. Tell you what, did a good job to at least mitigate the damage, but it is damage nonetheless that you don't want to be dealing with this early on, or this late in the game at least. Laps to go this time by. We are officially into the final third of racing action this afternoon. 60 down, 30 to go. No end in sight to the green flag running, although George Kirafita is being muscled out of the line here because there goes Ted Rekic down the inside, and he's trying to take the number 19 truck of James Yerger, also one lap down with him. Michael Allen, yet another lap down truck is in the mix here. So right now in this group, Rekic is the only lead lap truck that's side by side, and no other lead lap runners are wanting to go with. Oh, look out! Hold on! Hold on! Raymond down low, back up into traffic, trying to save it, still pedaling the truck, able to get it back underneath him. Right as other drivers hit pit road. Near disaster on the back straightaway for Aaron Raymond, as Ted Rekic got squeezed in the middle of 3 wide, right on board. Watch up top. Rekic is side by side with Michael Allen. Allen started to come down to follow. Kiravitas didn't realize that he was still 3 wide. Into the grass, back onto the racetrack. Fishtails and cat-like reflexes keep that truck going forward. Stellar reactions there from Aaron Raymond, and that is about the closest we've come to getting the full yellow flag. I thought that was going to be it for sure. Here comes another group down. May, Anasogak, Blowers, Wilbers, Rekic all into pit road this time. And the new fastest lap of the race for Carter Casey at a 48.962. One of the first drivers to punch into the 48-second bracket. Dylan Wilbers has a black flag for speeding. So Dylan Wilbers is going to have to come back down pit road for a pretty lengthy stop to serve that black flag. Meanwhile, Ryan Wayne is into the pits alongside Elliot Cantra. They both make their way in safe and sound. Jeff Gilmore is in as well from behind. Top 3 continue to have a run going. So far, Jared Duda leads the way in this one. He, Zane Bailey, and Carter Casey all have not yet come down pit road. They are packed up behind James Yerger, one of the lap trucks. Yerger now bails to pit road. And this trio continues to lead the way with 25 laps on the cards. So Jared Duda continues to make his way around. And none of the three coming down pit road. They're trying to push this run to the tail end of things. Now, it was going to be a fringe four-stop race. They're trying to make it a three-stopper here by cutting out what the final pit stop would be. Now, for drivers like Jim Duda and Paul Witt, that is an impossibility. But if these three can make it work, this could be a massive benefit to them in terms of strategy. Realistically, they just have to make it to the end of the next lap, and then they're golden. Into the pits comes Duda, Bailey, Casey. And just like that, it's on. Zane Bailey makes his way out of the box. Justin Anisogak will now be the new race leader along with Aaron May and Bobby Blowers. A three-truck pack up at the front. And Sogak continues to lead the pack for the time being. In that group of three, curious what the lap times are this next time through. But right now, that three-truck tandem was quicker than Jim Duda's pack down behind. Look out as a quick course correction to the inside for Duda. Puts them three wide now. Paul Witt in the fray here as well. And it's 3x3 down the super stretch. Carter Casey about to get swallowed up as well. Close shame, but they're able to keep it going. But that has cost them a lot of valuable time up to the top three who continue to build a gap. Secondary pack, you're looking all the way back to 18th for this one. Tomlinson Jr., TJ Wash, Cody Wood, Anthony Lane, Noah Swafford, and Wyatt Youngblood in the mix. Oh, hold on. Charlie Birch got him muscled around to the head of this field. That lets James Yerg get by on the outside. These are two lap trucks that lead the way. 19 to go this time through for Justin Anasogag and co. Jim Duda, Paul Witt, Jordan Jung, Austin Mitchell, Ted Rekich. All in the pack here. Rekich right now, one of the lone runners on the inside. Interestingly enough, more trucks often run the outside line this time that try to help them carry some more momentum through the corners and down the straights. Trouble behind. James Yerger goes spinning in the middle of the front straightaway. Caution number 1 of the afternoon. Another truck around to the back. That's Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez. Charlie Birch is also around. Kira Vides is there. Yerger is there. And for the first time on lap 73, caution at Daytona. Take a jump back. We'll show you what happened. This is coming down out of the tri-oval down the front straightaway, and Kira just went low. But there was a truck already there. Charlie Birch careens into the outside wall, then drifts down. He's the one that collected James Yerger. And the two of them went spinning. Then somewhere in the midst of all of this, you also had Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez take a bit of a ride. There you see him entering bottom of the screen. There goes Kira, and he is going to body the inside wall. And further behind, you caught a glimpse there of Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez losing the back end right on board of the 67. Wow, that's a weird one. Truck just kind of came around on him. I don't quite know what to make of that, to be honest. Was he turned potentially by Elia Kandra? Oh, he may have been. Oh, he did catch Ryan Wayne as well and caused the 39 truck to strike the outside wall. But this brings everyone into pit road for the final stops of the day. Fuel only going to be the call for most drivers here in the pack. And as the field continues to sort itself out, we are going to move on into the closing stages of this one. First caution of the day, and it comes out at a very inopportune time for a good chunk of the field here on this deal. We'll take ourselves one more quick step back, and when we return, it's gonna be the closing round, the closing laps in the SRA IEL Truck Series opener. We'll take a step back and be with you in a moment with more. This is what brings out caution number 1.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are gearing up for the final 14 laps of racing from the SRA IEL Truck Series' season opener at Daytona in the National Speedway. My name is Rambo, bringing you all the action from start to finish here this afternoon. And what a ride this is anticipated to be. We went so long without a yellow flag, but will this be the start of a stop-start run to the end? Green flag up in the air this time by 14 laps the distance. Justin Anasogak continuing to power on through. And now no limitations in this full pack on when you're allowed to go 3 wide. You can do so right from the get-go. Zane Bailey looking to the inside of Aaron May. He's going to try to pick up the race lead from Justin Anasogak. Anasogak up on the outside. Battles trying to fight on through. 13 laps to go. The 78 and the 10. They continue to work with it here as they fight their way around turn numbers 1 and 2. Zane Bailey down low. Carter Casey. Continue to make tracks as well, back in the 4th place spot. Make that now 3rd. Looking to make it 2nd as he pushes Zane Bailey through to the race lead. Two by for most of the field, a little bit of 3 deeper in the pack where Jared Duda is concerned. And the number 70, Robert Amaral, gets muscle. Now, oh, hold on. Problems deep in the field. Oh, and a hard hit on the outside wall for the 74 entry. Or the 24, Joshua Birch, sorry. And that truck billowing smoke now as it makes its way down the racetrack. Amaral also caught with a black flag and caution number 2 on the afternoon, and it looks like we're going to be doing some cautions, precautions styles of racing here. Amaral just came down the track, and he's going to just clean out Ted Wreckage on the inside. Oh, man, that was Kevin Roysard that nearly went around and got pushed up, and that is the hard shot that the 24 takes into the outside wall. Ouch. Big leak there, and I don't know what Amaral was doing there. I mean, just pushed down the racetrack, and that was all she wrote. And then, boom, just smokes the outside wall in turn 1. Ay, ay, ay. And you saw as well, Kevin Roy nearly went up and over. Watch this here. You're going to watch that number 7 truck on the inside. When he gets turned sideways, and watch those right side tires. Right there, lifts fully off the ground with both of them. But the back of the truck swings around, strikes the outside wall, and keeps that truck from getting any more air. No surprise, nobody is seeking to come down pit road this time through, and that is understandable, as everyone wants to make sure that they can be there to fight for spots in the end. Justin Anasogag leads the way. Aaron May, number 2. Jim Duda, 3rd. Then it's Paul Witt, Elliot Kandra, Zane Bailey, Carter Casey, Austin Mitchell, Jordan Jung, and Dale Rapp bringing up the tail end of the field. And we talked a little bit earlier on about what's coming up here for the channel as a whole, but coming up for SRA, it's not going to be too unfamiliar of a run at the Echo Park Speedway to what we have this afternoon. Last year's race saw a massive crash at Echo Park Speedway coming to the line that actually saw Dale Rapp go flipping over the pit wall after the checkered flag. And then it's another mile and a half, and it's another fast mile and a half, but it is one that should see a bit more tame action. Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Saturday night on January 31st. The first real quote-unquote short-track style racetrack is the Phoenix Raceway the week after on February 7th. So still a long way to go in the 2026 season here this afternoon. Take one more look at this incident. This is going to be at speed. I cannot explain what the thought process was there for Amaral to go down the track in the manner he did. You saw the number 34 catch quite the run as well. Double file, and it'll be an 8-lap sprint to close this race out. Anna Sogak and Aaron May, the two drivers that will lead us to the green. Jim Duda and Paul Witt will be the primary pushers. Duda and Witt are two drivers that know how to get the job done when it comes to winning races here. iRacing pace car will make its left-hand turn to the box. And it's time to take off as they go back to green. And a Sogak jumping on the loud pedal and quickly links up with Aaron May up high. Jim Duda goes up to join them, as does Paul Witt. So Elliot Candra now leads the way from the inside. Now, when you got a pack this big, the question starts to come into play as to when does the big one come about. Happens every single time you come here in a truck race. And with these drivers getting ever closer to the end of this race by the second, it's only a matter of time. And in fact, there it is. It might be here. Multiple trucks around in the back. Campbell, Curavita is both around. Lane and Gonzalez are both torn up. Mike Campbell as well. Dan Witt's got a black flag. Oh my. Let's jump back a little bit further. This is up the road, entering turn 3. Gonzalez tried to go for 3 wide. This is that late race aggression and just bodied off of Thomas Lane Jr. once, twice, 3, and round they go. Big hit into the outside wall for Gonzalez, and oh my goodness! Mike Campbell in the 71 going upside down in turn 4. Harsh impacts all around. Get a look at speed on this one. Right there you see the incident start, and then a violent hit to the outside wall for Mike Campbell brings the rest of the field to a standstill. That little move there, that's all it takes for all hell to break loose. Jeez Louise. Kevin Roy had a good job to lock it down as best as he could. And then for Campbell, he was all on his own on approach to the incident. You see Gonzalez gets turned right there. Joshua Highbaugh is on his outside, and Highbaugh trying to get low. He's going to right rear him, spin the 71 up, and just slams him into the outside wall. And that causes him to flip up, on his side, onto the driver's side window net. Does not go fully over as the truck then pirouetted down and landed on all fours. Boy, what a lick. Yellow flag's out once again. Now just 6 laps to go. Justin Anasogak currently leads the way up at the sharp end of the field. And one truck in the back here, Bobby Blowers, having quite the avoidance right on board with Blowers through the wreck. He sees it start, gets a lock down, and just escapes down low. Boy, that's a heart stopper for you if you're the number 49. And we are stacked up, doubled up, still in regulation time. Now, 4 laps to go. Oh, it went green for the first 75 laps or so. We haven't gone green for more than 3 laps since. Can't say I'm surprised. And as big of a wreck as that was, I feel like that's not the biggest one that we're going to be seeing tonight. Green flag will be coming out this next time by Justin Anasogak with 4 laps on the cards. Leads the field straight back to the green flag. Anasogak quickly jumping up high, joins Jim Duda up top. Paul Witt, Austin Mitchell, the main pushers on the outside lane as well. Down low, you have Aaron May, you have Zane Bailey, you have Elliot Kandra. Screaming down the back straightaway at just shy of 200 miles an hour. Jim Duda trying to make ground. He's going to go to the lead up front. Oh, look out. They're all ping-ponging off each other. Trouble behind. Multiple trucks. One truck's upside down. Huge crash on the front straightaway. Jared Duda tumbling side over side. End over end. No caution yet. A monster crash on the tri-oval. And the caution comes out with 3 to go. Jim Duda went over backwards. Slammed down on his roof, and it was on. Oh my goodness. A huge crash on the front straightaway. Take another look and you'll get a good eye on this one here. Charlie Birch got out of line. Tried to come back in a line, but it's too late. Jared Dudas scrambles low. Birch tried to follow. They collected. I believe that's Youngblood there. It is. And then around goes Jared Duda off the nose of Bobby Blowers. Then he goes up. The truck's going to swing around here. Roof's going to dig in. And he goes tumbling down the front straightaway. It's about 5 rolls right there. 6. Make it 7. The back end strikes the pavement, and then it starts to go end over end as well. Counted about 7 or 8 rolls. Got up on the nose. Slams down on his roof before rolling back over onto all fours on the apron. Take a look at speed. I mean, you saw it starting, and it was just on from there. Oh, hold on. We may have had another truck going over as well. Charlie Birch having a moment as well. This was coming down towards turn 1. Have we had 2 trucks go over? You saw him get up in the air. Into the wall. Up. Not quite over. Kevin Roy turned it back the right way, and the truck slammed back down. This will be at speed with Jared Duda's flip. Massive accident for Jared Duda in the middle of the front straightaway. Golly. Take another look at this one again, and you're going to be able to get a great look at this one here from the inside of the racetrack, as right there, didn't even get to Youngblood before the truck was already started to lift up. And then right around here is when that truck's going to dig in hard into the grass. And he caught some pretty good height on this one, too, as the roof catches. And it's on from there. Look at Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez from behind. He got a front row seat of the initial tumble. And at this point, there's no stopping this thing because it just digs in again every time it hits the grass. And it's not until it gets back to the pavement when it really starts to slow down. Right there where it hits the nose, that's where the big air comes in, kicks it all the way. You could drive a whole truck underneath that thing. And it strikes the back end on the apron. And then kicks the nose around. Man, oh man. Right on board with Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez and this wild ride that he took through the infield. Front row seats to the melee, and oh boy, that is not what you want to see. How'd you like to see this happen in front of you? God almighty. Well, it's going to be one lap to go, and we are now officially in overtime here at Daytona International Speedway. There are 4 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Ay, ay, ay. Well, with that huge crash on the front straightaway, we're going to get set to go back to green flag racing. We still have 32 trucks all on the lead lap, ready to do battle 35 that are on the racetrack in general. If they make it back to the white flag, then we will see this race finish under green. But they have to make it there first, and whether or not they make it could be a pretty big if. Green flag up in the air. Justin Anisogak taking off as she runs up to the top side. Quickly gets into the draft of Jim Duda. Into turn numbers 1 and 2. No help for Wreckage down low. Wreckage trying to side draft, but he doesn't have an answer on the inside line just yet. Heading down the back, they're 3 by 3 by 3 wide behind. Coming around, caution, they didn't make it back. And they're going around in turn number 4. Well, we'll slow it down and have to try it again. They were in turn 4 when the yellow came out, but that is not enough. And you can now hear some drivers starting to put in the clutch because it's a question now of, are they going to be able to make it to the end? Jumping back. This happened at the tail end of things here. You see Noah Swafford up on the outside. The two DeWalt trucks just going to kind of get tangled up. They were kind of already going around up front, it looked like. And there you go, already around. Dylan Wilbur's tangled up. Dan Wick goes around again. Look at the 48 just sneak through there. The 29 of Allen, not so lucky. He gets caught on the outside. There is Carson Allen, or Carter Casey, sorry, getting involved on the inside. Curious as to what was going on at the front of the... Oh, right there. Wow, look at the 07 getting put for ride. So that was actually brought the yellow flag out, and everything behind was just a byproduct. Right on board here with Joshua Highbaugh as he escapes down low. Fantastic job there to get out of that unscathed. And big news, Austin Mitchell is into pit road. He could not go the distance on fuel. And others that got damaged in that mess are using this opportunity. They're already at the back, right? So they're taking the chance to just come down and get some extra fuel into the cars. So it's going to be yet another 2-lap dash at the end. This is now overtime attempt number 2 of 4. So we have 2 more opportunities to get this race figured out. In order for us to be able to make it to the end, they have to make it to the white flag first. After that, they can crash as much as they want. We're not going to get the yellow flag, but again, they have to get to the stripe first for it to happen. And critically, because they didn't make it a full lap, it is now going to be a single file restart. So the green flag set to come out this time by and with a 2-lap dash on the line, Justin Anisogak will be the one to lead us back to the green. Paul Witt, third in line right behind Jim Duda. Tech Wreckage, Aaron May round to the top 5. Green flags in the air. And Jeff Gilmore got black flag. He looked to the inside of Dale Rapp. Rapp didn't go as quick as Gilmore wanted. He tried to pass down low, but that wasn't going to happen. And he's going to pull to the inside. He's done for the night. Coming around, turn 2, looking for the back straightaway. Do they make it back to the white flag? Turn 3, this is where it went wrong last time. Anisogak still leads the way. And they're going to make it back. White flag is out in the air. 2.5 miles to go. When does Jim Duda make the look? Justin Anisogak will no doubt be looking to play defense here in one of the biggest battles of his SRA career. Truck squeezing up in towards the outside wall. Anisogak still leads. Jim Duda right behind. Paul Witt also looking to make something happen down low. Aaron May still in the mix. Jim Duda goes high, and Anisogak can't block in time. But Duda was too aggressive. Now Anisogak's got to block 2 lanes at once. Here comes Paul Witt down low, not gonna get there. Justin Anisogak hangs on to win at Daytona, sorry. Not Talladega, but what a finish and what a run for Justin Anisogak, somehow holding on to take home the race win. What a journey that we had here this afternoon. An absolutely stellar drive as the fireworks shoot off over the Daytona Superstretch. Justin Anasogak taking home the first race win of the 2026 season. Started in the third position, able to come out of this one and clinch the race win. A big day for Justin Anasogak. He was a big story in last year's rendition of this series for the driver out of Kenai, Alaska. And he'll get the chance to now burn it down on the front straightaway. A stellar drive at the end of the afternoon. Let's take a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon from a wild outing that we had at the Daytona National Speedway. Coming home number one on the field this afternoon, it's going to be Justin Anasogak. There May alongside him at number two. And a three-wide drag to Jim Duda and Paul Way for third and fourth. Aaron May comes home fifth place. James Yerger back in sixth. Carter Casey in seventh. Ted Rekich, Bobby Blowers, and Bailey round out the top 10. From there, in the top 20, it's Jordan Jung, Scott Hyman, Elliot Kandra, Cody Witt, Anthony Lane, Dale Ratt, TJ Wash, John Bowalda Jr., Wyatt Youngblood, and Luigi Diaz Gonzalez. 21st through 30th, you got Joshua Highball, Thomas Davis, Noah Swafford, Ryan Wayne, Dylan Wilbers, Dan Witt, Austin Mitchell, Thomas Lane Jr., Michael Allen, and Michael Campbell. From there, it's Kevin Roy, Joshua Berg, George Kirafides, Jeff Gilmore, Charlie Birch, Jared Duda, Mike Campbell, Robert Amaral, and John Holliday. Brings up the rear with Romero, Eller, Jernigan, and Gudger not taking the green flag this afternoon. Boy, what a journey that we had here this afternoon, and we'll get the chance now to give it a chit-chat in here with the drivers that come home, numbers 1, 2, and 3 at the end of the night. And we'll look to kick things off first and foremost with the race winner here this afternoon. Justin Anasogak comes home number one in his SRA return. And Justin, you had quite the fight ahead of you there. It's often said the one place you don't want to be at a super speedway in the last lap is in the lead. You managed to make it work, though. How'd you manage to block 3 lanes at once coming to the checkered?
Lots and lots of draft masters, but I just want to give a shout out to the Turned Out for What boys and the SFR boys for working out good all night. Aaron May and all of them. Man, yeah, it was a stressful, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 restarts there. I was trying to help Aaron as much as I can, and I lost him. And I was like, I got to stay up high, you know. And then I'm surprised they didn't make a move a little bit earlier before down the backstretch going into 3. But I think Jim got a little loose going back up, and that allowed me to kind of navigate all 3 lanes right there at the end.
Overall, it was an extremely long green flag run for the opening 75 laps. And, well, you didn't go green for more than 2 or 3 after that from there to the end. How did the mentality change after that first caution came out into the back 20?
It was fine. I was just calm, cool, and collected. I was just kind of taking it easy. It's been a while since I raced over here. A whole bunch of new people. So I was just kind of trying to learn everybody's tendencies. And me, I think Aaron and I think Bobby had a pretty good lead on them before that caution came out. And I don't know if we were going to finish there. There was a couple guys saving fuel. So they probably would have made it if it stayed green, but either way, it came out with the win, and yeah, man, it was pretty fun out there.
Looking forward to the rest of the season. Do you plan on racing full time throughout this championship and potentially going for a title?
I'm gonna take it week by week. It seems pretty good right now. I just like to take things week by week. I'm kind of tired of the trucks, but the SFR boys and Turn Down for What boys called me over to come run with them. I was like, alrighty, I'll come do it. So I'll give the trucks a second chance, especially with the new update. I don't know what's really going on with it. So it's good to learn on the 1.5 miles and the short tracks.
We'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing at it once again. Congratulations on taking home #1, and we'll hopefully see you again next week in Georgia.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Justin Anisogak comes home first this afternoon, and the driver that gave him a run for his money there in the closing 2 laps, Aaron May, comes home #2 this afternoon. Aaron, you were up front for a good chunk of today's race throughout the green flag runs, and you were able to pretty much stay out of most of the dramas throughout the course of the afternoon. Talk us through your run.
Well, I had confidence coming into this race because I absolutely love racing here at Daytona, but once we got to one of the final restarts and I was stuck on that bottom line, I knew I was in trouble, and sure enough, yeah, I was, and I went back to 7th place, and then another caution came out. But fortunately, I was able to get back on the outside line and make some moves and get to 2nd place. I really wanted to win that race. I really want to win here bad, but that day will come.
Kind of talk us through the plans for the upcoming season here. Obviously, this is one of your best finishes in your SRA career. Do you reckon this could be a sign that maybe you could be looking to be a championship contending truck for the upcoming season?
I sure hope so. I still got a lot to learn when it comes to certain tracks, but other than that, I really hope this is a sign for good things to come.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on taking home the 2nd place tonight, and we will see you out next time around.
Thank you so much.
Solid drive here this afternoon from Aaron May, who comes home on a #2. And apologies for any of the language you may have heard in the driver's radio in the background. There seems there are some tempers running hot after the race here tonight. Jim Duda comes home #3 this afternoon. And Jim, you were a part of the 3-wide fight to the finish, and what a drive that you had here this afternoon.
Yeah, this Ford Racing F-150 was a hot rod tonight. We had a good truck. I think we were up front most of the race. I got a little worried there, and Paul and I were the only ones to pit, but we stayed up front. And I tell you what, man, Justin was riding in his rearview mirror there. He didn't know who to block. And Aaron May came out of nowhere at the finish there. I could have came down, but I didn't want to wreck, so I stayed where I was. And I think he got into Paul's door, and I think Paul probably would have pulled out a P3, but that slowed him down, and here we are at the podium.
A stellar run for you this afternoon. Do you reckon there was anything more you could have done there in those final 2 laps to try to see if you could eke out that win over Anisogak this afternoon?
Not at all, man. He was blocking. Everywhere I tried to go, he cut up on me, and every time that happened, I'd slow down a little bit. So nothing I can do. I think what killed us was that last restart where we went single file. I don't know. He ran a good race. I thought it was a real good race tonight. Kudos to everybody. So.
And we look forward to the season as a whole. You're always one of the trucks that has been up at the front, but that championship has remained ever elusive since you arrived on the scene here in SRA. Do you reckon that could change here in 26?
No, unfortunately not. Jared and I have some commitments, and I'm not going to be here for every race. The old saying, we look for wins and not championships. So,
well, we'll wish you the best of luck then whenever we see you on track next. Congratulations on the run here this afternoon, and we will see you hopefully next week. And if not that, then later on in the season.
Roger. Thanks, guys.
Jim Duda comes on 3rd this afternoon, and that is going to be it then for us here on this Saturday afternoon. Quite the intense journey that a lot of drivers had here on the afternoon, and boy, what a fight that we had all the way through, and what a fight that we are going to get set to have into the finish here of the season from here on out. When we go racing once again on Green Flag TV, it is, of course, going to be coming on up on Monday night as the High Tide Racing takes the Dover Motor Speedway, while the Aspire Racing Series will take a run around the Daytona Infield Road Course. And later on that night, the Mid-Atlantic Series is out on the Oval once again, while Omar Sorrell takes to Bristol Motor Speedway for round number 2. PSR and Beerley both back for more on Wednesdays, with Zero Tour Raceway getting set to close out the round of 16 at the Pocono Raceway this coming Friday. Congratulations to Justin Anasoga for taking a stellar race win this afternoon, and this championship is only picking up. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflag.tv. There we go. We'll wish you the best of luck once again for the SRA IEL Truck Series next week at the Echo Park Speedway. My name is Manolo Rampo. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you all when we go racing next week in Georgia.